Hello and welcome back to T News 9, your go-to channel for the most captivating stories. Today we're diving deep into Chapter 6 of the sensational novel, My Wife is a Gangster, and this chapter is titled, Should I Run? Just imagine the scene. The woman I married, the woman I thought I knew, looks me straight in the eyes and tells me to leave her. She says staying with her would only put me in danger. My mind went blank. Every word she said echoed in the room, hitting me like a physical blow. Danger? What kind of danger? My heart started pounding in my chest, a frantic drumbeat of pure, unadulterated fear. For the first time in my entire life, I seriously, genuinely considered running away. Just packing a bag, walking out that door, and never looking back. It felt like the only sane thing to do. My survival instincts were screaming at me to escape, to get as far away from her and her hidden world as possible. But I didn't. I stood there, frozen, looking at her. Was it stupidity? A complete lack of self-preservation? I asked myself that over and over. Maybe I was just a fool, paralyzed by the shock of it all. Or maybe, just maybe, something else was happening inside me. A feeling I hadn't been able to name until that very moment. Maybe, in the midst of all the chaos and confusion, I had already fallen in love with her. Hopelessly and completely. The thought was as terrifying as her warning, but it was also undeniable. It was a truth that settled deep in my bones. And so, that night, I made a choice. I stayed. I chose her, I chose us, over the safety of running away. And in doing so, I crossed a line, a point of no return. A boundary that, once stepped over, I knew I could never, ever uncross. My old life was gone, and this new, dangerous, and exhilarating life with her was just beginning. What happens next is anyone's guess, but one thing is certain. Life will never be the same. The decision to stay has set a new course, one filled with shadows and secrets, but also with a love that defies all logic. What would you have done in my shoes? Would you have run for the hills, or would you have stayed for love? Chapter 7 of the novel, My Wife is a Gangster, titled Her Mother. Let's get right into it. Her mother arrived in America soon after. She was a small woman, but her presence filled the room. Her eyes were sharp, incredibly sharp, sharp enough to cut steel. They seemed to see right through everything, right into your soul. She studied me in complete silence, her gaze unwavering. It felt like an eternity, like I was being weighed and measured, every flaw and every strength laid bare before her. It was one of the most intense moments of my life. I stood there, trying to hold my ground, but under her scrutiny, I felt utterly transparent. She didn't bother with pleasantries. There were no introductions, no polite questions like, "Who are you?" or "What's your relationship with my daughter?" She bypassed all of that, cutting straight to the heart of the matter. It was clear she wasn't interested in small talk. Her purpose was singular, her focus absolute. She looked at me, her sharp eyes locking onto mine, and asked just one question. A question that would echo in my mind forever. She asked, "If my daughter dies, could you keep living?" The air grew heavy. The silence was deafening. How do you even begin to answer a question like that? It wasn't about love or commitment or promises. It was about survival, about the very essence of your being in the face of unimaginable loss. I stood there, speechless. The words wouldn't come. I didn't answer. I couldn't. What could I possibly say? A yes would sound heartless. A no would be a lie. My silence was the only honest response I could offer. After a long moment, she simply nodded. Just a single, small nod. It seemed my silence was enough. It was the answer she was looking for. In that moment, an unspoken understanding passed between us. The gravity of our situation, the world my wife belonged to, became painfully, terrifyingly clear. Chapter 8 of My Wife is a Gangster, titled Return to Japan. If you thought the drama was intense before, get ready, because this chapter takes it to a whole new level. So, the inevitable has happened. She has to go back. For her own safety, she must return to Japan, back to the world of shadows and power she tried so hard to leave behind. She needs protection, the kind that only her family, the Yakuza, can provide. And as for me, I'm left standing on the outside, looking in. I knew from the start I shouldn't follow her. It's a painful truth to accept. I'm just an ordinary guy who fell for an extraordinary woman. Her world of honor, danger, and silent codes is not my own. Following her would be like a moth flying into a flame, beautiful, but ultimately destructive for us both. I would be a liability, a weakness her enemies could exploit. And I could never, ever let that happen. Staying behind is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but it's the only way I can truly protect her. The scene at the airport, it seared into my memory. The air was thick with unspoken words, with everything we wanted to say but couldn't. We walked in silence, the bustling crowds around us fading into a blur. When the final boarding call came, she didn't just hold my hand. She gripped it, her fingers tight, as if trying to anchor herself to me, to this life we built. Her eyes held a storm of emotions, fear, regret, and a deep, aching love. She didn't say goodbye. A simple word like that felt too final, too much like an ending. Instead, she just looked at me, a long, searching gaze that said more than any words ever could. It was a promise, a question, and a farewell all in one. Then, she turned and walked away, disappearing into the jet bridge without a single look back. I stood there frozen, long after she was gone. I watched her plane taxi down the runway, a silver bird preparing to fly away with my heart. As it lifted off the ground and climbed higher and higher, shrinking into a tiny speck against the vast, empty sky, a profound sense of loss washed over me. It felt like a physical part of my soul was being torn away. I hadn't just lost the woman I loved. I had lost something absolutely irreplaceable, a piece of myself that I knew I could never get back. The sky she disappeared into felt as empty as my world did in that moment. Chapter 9, titled A Ticket with No Name. If you thought things were intense before, just wait. A whole week has passed since the last explosive event. For a full 7 days, there was an unnerving silence. I almost let myself believe that maybe, just maybe, things could go back to normal. But in this world, normal is a luxury you can't afford. This morning, a single envelope arrived in the mail. No return address, no sender's name on it. Just a plain, anonymous white envelope. My heart started pounding before I even opened it. I knew this wasn't a friendly letter or a bill. Inside, there was just one thing, a plane ticket. A one-way ticket to a destination I never would have chosen. There was no note, no message, not even a scribbled hello. But the message was crystal clear. This wasn't an invitation for a vacation. It wasn't a suggestion or a request. This was a decision. A decision that had been made for me by people who don't ask for opinions. My wife's world was once again pulling me in, and this ticket was my summons. I looked at the ticket, the destination staring back at me. I immediately understood. This was it. The next step in a game I never signed up to play. My life was no longer my own. The ticket in my hand felt heavy, not because of the paper, but because of the weight of what it represented. It was a one-way trip into the heart of the storm, a journey with no return flight booked. What will happen when I land? Who will be waiting for me? The only thing I know for sure is that my life is about to change forever again. Chapter 10 of My Wife is a Gangster, titled Stepping into the Underworld. If you thought things were getting intense before, you have no idea what's coming. So grab your popcorn, get comfortable, and let's get into it. The chapter opens with our hero, a man who, until now, believed he was living a perfectly normal life. He's just landed in Japan, the air thick with anticipation. And as he steps through the arrival gate, there she is. His wife. She's not alone though. A sea of men in perfectly tailored black suits surrounds her, a silent, imposing army. As he approaches, they all bow in perfect, unnerving unison. The respect, the sheer power radiating from them, is palpable. It's a scene straight out of a movie, but for our protagonist, this is terrifyingly real. She turns to him, and the chaos seems to fade away. A soft, gentle smile plays on her lips, a smile he knows so well, yet it feels different here, charged with a new meaning. "You're here," she says, her voice calm and steady, cutting through the silent tension. It's a simple greeting, just 2 words, but for him, they carry the weight of a world-shattering revelation. In that single, fleeting moment, everything clicks into place. The strange phone calls, the unexplained absences, the air of mystery she always carried, it all makes sense now. He looks from her serene face to the army of loyal followers and back again. The life he knew, the quiet, predictable, ordinary life, is gone. It vanished the second he stepped off that plane. He realizes he's standing on a threshold, crossing a line he can never uncross. His old life is over, a chapter closed forever. And as he takes her hand, he understands that a new, dangerous, and exhilarating chapter has just begun. His life in the underworld, with his gangster wife leading the way, has officially started.